LRIT, long range identification and tracking. When the ship is in coastal area, it can be monitored by the authorities. By the data transmitted by the ship, the authorities have constant information about which ship, where she is doing, what she is carrying. All information is available to them. But when the ship is sailing out, when she goes to the deep sea, there was no method of tracking the vessels. Every ship is sending known reports to the company, maybe charters. So commercial information was available to the owners, to the charters. But it had nothing to do with the government. Government's involvement becoming more and more with the ship's operation and everywhere else. Everything is regulated. So it was seen a necessity that the ship should be tracked by governments also. The reason is, or what was the reason behind this thought process? Why it should be monitored by the ships? Well, this happened after 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center. When in 2001, the terrorists took the plane, they hijacked the plane and bombarded, rather crashed the plane onto World Trade Center. Lot of devastation, and we all know what happened. Taking a cue from that incident, IMO said, if this could happen with aircraft, it can very well happen with the ships also. The pirates or the terrorists may hijack the ship, maybe approach a country, blow the ship in the given area near the breakwater, and all sorts of things will happen. Oil pollution will happen. If the breakwater is closed, the port will starve. A lot of things can happen. A lot of damage can be done. So USA being a strong presence in the IMO, they called for, or ultimately IMO sat for a meeting in 2002. A convention was held in 2002. In that it was discussed, the situation was discussed, that ships can be used as a means of devastation, as terrorism. So all the contracting governments, what is the contracting governments? All the countries who are part of IMO, like India is a contracting government. Flag administration is DG shipping. All of them agreed that we should be keeping an eye on the ships also. Each country should be privy to all the ships coming in that area, not only in coastal area, but also when away from coastal area. Like for example, even within 500, 600, 700, 1000 miles range also, each country would want to know who are in this area right now. With that, they can track those vessels. If they see anything suspicious, they can take early action, neutralize them, take whatever steps necessary. So actually, after 9/11 attacks, three things came into existence. 2001, this attack happened. 2002, a resolution was passed that we will have some kind of arrangement so that each government knows and can monitor all ships in that area, in their area, no matter what nationality. Any ship in my area, I should know about it. So three things came into existence. The first was access control system. Who will come onto board, onto the ship? That was all decided by a regulation or requirement of ISPS. First, control the access to the ship. No unauthorized person should board the vessel. If anybody coming in, they should be given an identification. They should not be left alone on board ship to do this or that. They should always be accompanied by a ship staff. And of course, the multiple level of security, wherein in third security level, level 3, all is sealed. No going out, no coming in. So first is controlling the access of unauthorized people. The second was LRIT, long range identification and tracking, by means of which all governments should be able to track all ships in their area, all times, 24/7. And the third thing which came into existence was SSAS, just in case if the ship is threatened by piracy attack or terrorist attack, then they should notify the government firsthand, government, about this attack. So the government is alerted about any ship. Government is notified of this attack and they can start taking action in advance. So SSAS is basically a distress call, distress alerting, but only for one dedicated person: piracy attack, terrorist attack, security breach of the ship. So SSAS, ISPS हमारा टॉपिक नहीं है अभी. We are talking about LRI. So 2002 this resolution was passed. 2006 the structure of the system came into existence. This is what is going to be done. 2-3 साल लगे उनको वर्कआउट करने में. Finally they came out with a solution that this is how it will work out, and that was LRIT. LRIT आपने देखा होगा जहाज में इक्विपमेंट होती है. बाय द वे जस्ट आस्किंग, ऐसा ही जनरल क्वेश्चन, कितने लोगों ने LRIT इक्विपमेंट देखा है? What is the special feature of that device?
SAT-C से कनेक्टेड रहता है सर मोस्टली.
ऑपरेट होता है ना SAT-C.
Okay, SAT-C. Very good. That is the point I wanted to make. LRIT is not an equipment. It is a system of tracking the vessel. It is a system of identifying a vessel and tracking a vessel. LRIT is not an equipment, but the requirement of tracking the vessel, जो भी fulfill करेगा, that is an LRIT. So SAT-C has got a feature by which ships can be tracked. We will see. LRIT is a system of tracking vessel. It requires that each ship will transmit its position report, at least 4 position reports daily, at fixed intervals not exceeding 6 hours. So 4 report हो गया daily. Each ship will transmit position reports at fixed intervals not exceeding 6 hours to their flag administration automatically without human intervention. LRIT is a system of reporting and identifying a ship, tracking a ship. Any equipment which can do this is an LRIT equipment, can be LRIT equipment. So what is the requirement once again? That each ship will transmit its position report to its flag administration at fixed intervals not exceeding 4 hours. That means minimum 4 reports daily. हर 6 घंटे में एक रिपोर्ट. By this, the administration is always tracking all the ships. Suppose, for example, India, let us say, has 200 ships. So all the 200 ships will be transmitting their position report to Government of India, that is DG Shipping, on a continuous basis every 6 hours. So India will know the position of each vessel wherever they are in the world. DG Shipping sitting here knows that there are 50 ships in my coastal area. There is so many ships in Atlantic, so many ships in Pacific, somebody in Australia, some in USA, some in South America, all over the world, wherever the ship is. They will be notifying their position to the flag administration. So this is the requirement of LRIT. Position reporting automatically without human intervention at fixed intervals. Now we are reporting. What is the objective? I mean, what is the purpose? You report कर रहे हैं, तो again, it is to enhance maritime safety or maritime security rather, not safety, but maritime security. Prime objective or prime purpose of LRIT is maritime security, increase maritime security. As we have already seen in AIS, की safety of navigation तो है, but data available है, so it can be used for some other purposes also. So again in LRIT we have worldwide data available, so it can be used for other purposes as well. So the remaining two purposes remain the same. जो AIS का था. Can somebody tell me the second and third purpose served by AIS?
Control maritime pollution and SAR.
Very good. So those two are common for this also, LRIT as well. The first and foremost is maritime security. Second one is controlling maritime pollution. Third one is can assist in search and rescue. So these are the purposes of this. Now, what is transmitted as a position report? What data is transmitted? Is three. Basically three: daytime, position, identification of the ship. Who, where, at what time? Position report complete. So very small report is sent. Less than 1 KB का report होता है. So any equipment which can transmit at fixed intervals without me touching, मुझको कुछ नहीं करना, automatically वो कर रहा है. Any system which can do this can be termed as an LRIT equipment. In most cases, as you very rightly said, that one of the SATC, which is part of GMDSS installation, can be used for this purpose. The SATC is a cheaper device and performs so many of activities. For example, EGC receiver also is there. Distress alerting is also there. And here we have position reporting also. It has also got polling feature. Like we said in the AIS, SAS also had got polling feature. If a government wants to find out position, they can poll the SATC. The SATC will send back the answer. So that feature is also there in this. So one of the SATC, we have two SATCs normally as part of duplicacy of equipment, fulfilling the requirement of GMDSS. So one of the GMDSS SATCs are configured for this purpose, which will transmit position reports on a continuous basis at fixed intervals to the flag administration. So this is the basics of LRI. But it is not so easy, and this function requires a major infrastructure. So we will now study this from the point of view of flow diagram, how the data flows, what are the structure, what is the structure of the LRIT system, how the ship is transmitting, and what are the stages through which it passes, and finally it fulfills the requirement for which it was made. Remember, it was made for maritime security, how to enhance maritime security. So that was the core objective. Here we have the first component of the whole system is the ship's LRIT. It will transmit 4 position report, और इसको सीधा छोटे में लिखते हैं 4 PRs that will comprise of ID of the ship, position, and date time. So these are the position report. When it is transmitting, since it is to be a global system, it has to pass via satellite. From satellite, it will come to लैंड अर्थ स्टेशन. अगर आपने सैटेलाइट कम्युनिकेशन का थोड़ा ध्यान किया हो तो एलियस हो सकता है यहां से लैंडलाइन नेटवर्क होएगा, देन फाइनली रेसिपिएंट के पास जाएगा जिसके पास पहुंचना है. सो व्हाट इज द फंक्शन ऑफ सैटेलाइट, द एलियस, लैंडलाइन? ये सबको इस पोजीशन रिपोर्ट से कुछ करना होता है. आप यहां से मैसेज भेजते हैं तो इनको आपके मैसेज से कुछ लेना देना होता है क्या? इनका काम है आपने जो भेजा वो पहुंचा देना. सो इट पासेस थ्रू द CSP, communication service provider. The communication service provider is everything in between the recipient and the ship. जिसको मिलना है शिप से मिलना है, इसको मिलना है, किसके थ्रू मिलना है? CSP. जैसा एयरटेल हमारे लिए ISP है, अभी मैं ब्रॉडबैंड यूज कर रहा हूं, मेरे पास एयरटेल का ब्रॉडबैंड है, तो मेरा ISP कौन है? एयरटेल है. वैसे ही CSP कौन है? तो हो सकता है सैटेलाइट कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम हो, इनमारसैट हो. सो द होल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. सो इट सिक्योरली transfers data ashore. जो शिप का डेटा है सिक्योरली वो शोर पे पहुंचा देता है. बट शोर पे किसके पास? Here comes the complication little bit. It is given to somebody called ASP, Application Service Provider. Who is this application service provider? It is an entity appointed by the flag state. The flag state will give contract to an agency that your responsibility is to collect data from all the ships. Remember, there are many ships under that flag administration. So there can be X number of ships which are transmitting their data. What data? 4 PRs daily. The PR comprising of ship's ID, position, and date time. ID of the ship is basically the equipment identification. अगर मैं मोबाइल से मैसेज भेजता हूं तो आपके पास क्या मिलता है कि किससे आया? What is the ID of the sender? My mobile number. Similarly, also here, when the ship is sending position report, ID किससे आया? इस ID से, which is the equipment number. अगर SATC से भेज रहे हैं तो 9 digit 4 starting from digit 4 will be the ID of this equipment. That mobile number is the identification. So we were talking about ASP now. ASP is appointed by the flag administration. They are given the job of collecting data from all the ships. Not only that, they have multiple roles also. What roles do they have? So number one, their job is to go to the ship and configure कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ द एलआरआईटी इक्विपमेंट. जहाज पे जो इक्विपमेंट है उसको कॉन्फ़िगर करेंगे ट्रांसमिशन के लिए, ऑटोमेटिक ट्रांसमिशन के लिए. वंस दे हैव डन दैट, दे विल डू द टेस्टिंग ऑफ ट्रांसमिशन. यहाँ सब सही चल रहा है या नहीं, ऑटोमेटिक रिपोर्टिंग हो रही है या नहीं, एंड फ्यू अदर थिंग्स आल्सो व्हिच इज टेस्टेड. Then after testing, their job is to certification. They issue a certificate to the ship. Now you are LRIT compliant. So what certificate they use is known as LRIT conformance test report. जो उन्होंने टेस्ट किया कि सब ठीक है, उसकी एक सर्टिफिकेट देते हैं कि हाँ आपका LRIT काम कर रहा है. And later on, their job is also to monitor which ship is sending, which is not sending the report. That monitoring is also done by the ASP. So these are some responsibilities of the ASP. ASP people will come on board, they will do the configuration, पैसा जहाज का ओनर देगा.
सर CSP क्या कर रहा है? कुछ भी नहीं कर रहा, बस डेटा ट्रांसफर करेगा.
Yes, exactly. CSP is nobody. मैं आप जहाज से फोन करते हो, घर पे करते हो कि नहीं?
करते हैं सर.
आपने यहाँ से घर पे मतलब जहाज से फोन उठाया और मम्मी से बात करी अपने. आप कैसे बात कर रहे हैं? बीच में कुछ था, बीच में कोई लिंक है? कौन प्रोवाइड कर रहा है ये कम्युनिकेशन?
सैटेलाइट.
दैट्स CSP. The Inmarsat is providing communication between the ship and your mummy.
हाँ जी.
So CSP का और कोई काम नहीं है, उसका काम है जो आपने भेजा वो वहां पहुंचा दिया, बीच में पैसे दे दो मेरे सर्विस के, बस इतना काम है उसका.
ठीक है.
Okay, so CSP has got no role as such in LRIT, but डेटा जो जहाज से जाएगी, शोर पे जाएगी, तो कैसे जाएगी? ग्लोबल कम्युनिकेशन है, सैटेलाइट कम्युनिकेशन होना चाहिए, तो सैटेलाइट्स इन्वॉल्व होंगे. सैटेलाइट्स कम्युनिकेशन सारे एलियस के थ्रू काम करते हैं. हम जानते हैं सेंटोसा हो गया, आरवी हो गया, बुरूम हो गया, सो मेनी ऑफ एलियसेस आर देयर. यामागुची हो गया, पता नहीं कौन कौन से सारे कितने सारे एलियसेस हैं. So as we said, the job of CSP is to securely transfers data ashore. That's all. जो आपने भेजा उसने पहुंचा दिया. So this position report which was sent by the ship during normal operation, ASP adds more data to it. जो छोटा रिपोर्ट था उसको बड़ा रिपोर्ट बनाता है, प्रॉपर रिपोर्ट बनाता है. So what data is added? Name of the ship, call sign, IMO number, अपनी आईडी डालता है उसमें. हर ESP का अपना आईडी होता है, ASP आईडी डालता है अपनी. उसमें आगे जिसको वो आगे फॉरवर्ड करेगा, क्योंकि ये तो प्राइवेट एजेंसी था मान लो, लेकिन फ्लैग एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के पास तो पहुंची नहीं, तो जिसको वो भेजेगा उसकी आईडी भी डालेगा, एंड दैट इज नोन एज डीसी आईडी, डेटा सेंटर, जहां पे डेटा पहुंचनी है फाइनली। ये तो ट्रांजिशन में बीच का बंदा है। डीसी आईडी, एडिशनली टाइम स्टैम्प्स आर एडेड। टाइम स्टैम्प क्या है? जस्ट इवेंट का टाइम, डेट। तो इतने बजे भेजा था, इतने बजे पहुंचा, इतने बजे इसने ये किया, उतने बजे आगे भेजा, ये सब वेरियस टाइम स्टैम्प्स आर देयर। The small report is converted into a proper report, and then it is transmitted to next stage, which is LRIT data center.
सर देन एएसपी के बाद ये नेम, ये आईएमओ नंबर वगैरह पहले से ही होगा ना हमारा सर, हमारी आईडी से, बिकॉज डेटा तो छोटा ही गया है।
इनके पास एक सॉफ्टवेयर है, इनके पास एक सॉफ्टवेयर है जिसमें जहाज के सारे रिकॉर्ड्स हैं। उन जहाज के सारे रिकॉर्ड से इस आईडी को मैच करते हुए ऑटोमेटिकली वो वहां पे आ जाता है। जैसे मैं आपको बोलूं कि मैंने शैतानी किया और मैं भाग रहा हूं, तो पुलिस मेरे मोबाइल नंबर से मुझ तक पहुंच सकती है कि नहीं?
पहुंच जाएगी सर।
पहुंच जाएगी, क्योंकि जब नंबर लिया था तो मैंने सारी डिटेल्स दी थी, मेरा केवाईसी दिया था, मेरा रेजिडेंस दिया था, सब कुछ दिया था। तो वैसे ही एएसपी के पास एक एप्लीकेशन है। फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिया के केस में एक एग्जांपल देता हूं। इन इंडिया फ्लैग एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन इज ऑफ कोर्स डीजी शिपिंग, तो एएसपी भी होना चाहिए इंडिया में, which is appointed by the DG shipping. So in India, Tata Communications is appointed for this job. Tata Communications को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया हुआ है LRIT के लिए। टाटा कम्युनिकेशंस का जो भी ऑफिस होगा वहां पे ऑल इंडियन रजिस्टर्ड वेसल्स की डिटेल है, एक सॉफ्टवेयर में है। ये सारे रिपोर्ट्स आती हैं, उसके साथ एडअप करता जाता है। तो सारा LRIT का डेटा प्रोसेस करने के लिए कुछ सिस्टम तो होना चाहिए, कुछ डेटाबेस होगा, कुछ फ्रंट एंड होगा सॉफ्टवेयर। दैट सॉफ्टवेयर इज मेड बाय इसरो, और एक विंग है उनका अंतरिक्ष। सो द विंग अंतरिक्ष ऑफ इसरो has made the application, software application or application software for LRIT. So the same software which was made by Antariksh is being used by Tata Communications to do all the jobs that we are talking about. Are we good?
Yes sir.
Okay. So ASP is transferring data to LRIT data center. Now, who is this data center? This is the flag administration. ये जहां पहुंचनी थी डेटा जहाज की, वो पहुंच गई फाइनली। अब ये डेटा सेंटर क्या होगा? तो अरे एक कमरा होगा, कंप्यूटर रखा होगा बगल में, ढेर सारा मेमोरी के लिए वो सर्वर्स वगैरह होंगे, वहां पे सब डेटा स्टोर हो रहा है। So this is now finally reached the flag administration, what we call the data center. Supposing there were 200 ships, 200 ships transmitting 4 reports daily, there are 800 reports being received at the data center. And it is being stored. Now, what to do with this data? क्या करेगा इसका? What is the use of this data? Can somebody?
कंपनी ओनर को जाएगा सर।
कंपनी ओनर को क्यों जाएगा? कंपनी ओनर को तो अपना रिपोर्ट जा ही रहा है, नॉन रिपोर्ट जा रहा है, सब जा ही रहा है। 50 तो हम कम्युनिकेशन करते रहते हैं, कंपनी को क्या लेना देना इससे? रिमेंबर व्हाट वी स्टार्टेड ऑफ विथ, LRIT का बर्थ प्लेस कहां था? Which idea was behind this? What is the purpose of LRIT? Can you add up?
Security.
So this should be used for security purposes by government agencies only.
Yes, sir.
Owner is not involved in maintaining national security, is it? उनका काम है ओनर्स का अपना कमर्शियल ऑपरेशन करना, बट नेशन का क्या काम है कि कमर्शियल ऑपरेशन भी ठीक चले तुम्हारा और मेरे कंट्री भी सेफ रहे. So the data which is collected at the data center is given to right authorities, authorized users of the data. It is disseminated, distributed to authorized users of the country. Now in India, who are the authorized users of this data? Who will be responsible? First of all, अगर फ्लैग एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के पास आ रही है तो देयर विल बी ऑथराइज्ड यूजर्स. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो फ्लैग एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ही होगा, हम इसको लिखेंगे ऑथराइज्ड यूजर्स. सो पहला तो फ्लैग स्टेट ही हो जाएगा. He can use the data. Then there are so many ports in the country, or any country there can be many ports. All the port authorities may like to have this information for efficient working of their port operations, who is coming, who is going, at what time, ETA, overdue ships, etc., etc. उसके लिए. So the next one is all the port states. These are also the authorized users. Then the third one is coastal state. The agency which is responsible for security of the coastal region. In case of India, Indian Navy. Australia, AMSA, USCG for USA, and so on. So Indian Navy can also obtain this data which is available. What purpose? For securing their coastal areas. But the same data can also be used for search and rescue agencies. So other one is SAR agencies. So these are the 4 authorized users of LRIT data. See, all are national entities. Flag state, port states, coastal states, SAR agencies. All are national agencies involved in one thing or the other. No private party here. LRIT is a government data. It is not public data. It is meant for only government use. So up to this, are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So आपने ये डायग्राम बनाया है क्या अभी तक, या सुन रहे हो सिर्फ?
Yes, sir, बनाए.
सुन रहे हैं.
तो 2 मिनट ले करके इसको बना लीजिए और थोड़ा सा आगे जगह रखिएगा. मैं बोर्ड छोटा है तो आगे के लिए मैं यहाँ से आगे और शुरू करूंगा, मिटा के वापस आएंगे. Just to explain the situation. Take 1 minute and complete the diagram. Please tell me when you are done. Are you finished? Are you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are going to talk about DC forward. तो DC मैं यहाँ पे बनाऊंगा उसके आगे. So the diagram continues from ASP to DC. मैं इसको DC ही लिख रहा हूँ. Data center, as we said, is the flag administration. India, we have seen, so this is DC number 1. Similarly, there will be data centers across the world. जितने countries हैं, सबका data center होएगा. N number of data centers. So one word about the data center, then we take it forward. The data centers can be 3 types: NDC, National Data Center. There can be RDC, which is Regional Data Center, and there can be third CDC, which is Cooperative Data Center. So each country will be having either one of them. कोई एक होगा इसमें. How they are different from each other? NDC means National Data Center. As the name indicates, it receives data from only flag vessels. India has got NDC, National Data Center. That means in India, there is only Indian flag vessels information. Nobody else. In an RDC, there can be a region. For example, just example के लिए बोल रहा हूँ, है नहीं, साउथ ईस्ट एशिया. तो साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में जितने कंट्रीज होंगे वो वहां पे एक जगह भेजेंगे. देयर मे बी मोर देन वन कंट्रीज विच आर सेंडिंग डेटा इनटू द सेम डीसी. So this is regional data center. We have only one example of RDC, which is Brazil. Third one is cooperative data center, which is when so many countries put hands together, they join a pool and they said, why do we have so many of data centers? Let us have one data center. All our countries' vessels will be sending report there itself. So many countries cooperating with each other to make one data center, all the countries of that group sending again data in the same. There are 2 examples of this. One is European Union, other one is Pacific Islands. So only 2 example of this. Remaining all are national data centers.
तो इंडिया में एक ही है एनडीसी?
एक ही होना चाहिए पूरे। अब जैसे हमने कहा कि 200 जहाज हैं, तो ये 200 जहाज सब एक ही जगह भेज रहे हैं ना फ्लैग एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को।
सर इंडियन फ्लैग जो भी रजिस्टर्ड है वो जहाँ पे भी है वर्ल्ड में, वो सारा अपना डेटा इंडिया भेज रहे हैं। इंडिया में जहाँ पे भी डेटा सेंटर है उधर भेज रहे हैं।
Exactly. अगर जहाज यूएसए में है तो यूएसए से इंडिया को भेज रहा है। अगर जहाज अटलांटिक में है तो वहां से सैटेलाइट कम्युनिकेशन के थ्रू इंडिया को भेज रहा है। अगर कोई पैसिफिक में है तो वहां से भेज रहा है। कोई ऑस्ट्रेलिया में घूम रहा है तो वहां से भेज रहा है। कोई साउथ चाइना सी में है तो वहां से भेज रहा है। No matter where the ship is, they are sending data always to their flag administration. So all the ships, 200 ships, are always sending data to the national data center or whatever data center they are entitled or registered with. For example, Denmark registered vessel, where are they going to send their data?
यूरोपियन यूनियन।
यूरोपियन यूनियन।
सीडीसी, उनका जो सीडीसी है उसमें।
आरडीसी मतलब आरडीसी का क्या मतलब रहा है?
रीजनल है ये, एक रीजन के लिए स्पेसिफिक होता है। देयर कैन बी, these are not constrained by region, this is constrained by region.
मतलब सर अगर मैं ब्राजीलियन टेरिटोरियल वाटर्स में या ईजेड में हूं तो मेरे को इधर भेजना पड़ेगा?
नहीं, आपको कभी नहीं भेजना पड़ेगा। अगर ब्राजील के आसपास में जो है, अगर यूएसए का जहाज है तो यूएसए को भेजेगा। अगर ब्राजील में ऑस्ट्रेलिया का जहाज है तो वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया को भेजेगा। अगर ब्राजील में इंडिया का जहाज है तो इंडिया को भेजेगा। जो ब्राजील के कंट्री है और ब्राजील के आसपास के उस रीजन के जो कंट्री है वो सब अपने डेटा सेंटर को भेजेंगे। अगर ब्राजील का जहाज यूएसए में है तो आरडीसी को, ब्राजील के आरडीसी को भेजेगा। अगर पारागुए है,
एनडीसी होगा ना फिर तो?
नहीं, एनडीसी नहीं हुआ। मल्टीपल कंट्रीज सेंडिंग टू वन डेटा सेंटर। USA is NDC. All US vessels sending here. Now this US vessel is in India. ये अपने किसको भेजेगा? USCG को। अगर यूएसए का जहाज ऑस्ट्रेलिया में है तो किसको भेजेगा? यूएसए को। अगर ये अटलांटिक में है तो किसको भेजेगा? यूएससीजी को। अगर अटलांटिक में एक इंडियन वेसल है, इन अटलांटिक देयर इज एन इंडियन वेसल, वेयर इज दिस गोइंग टू सेंड?
इंडिया।
इंडिया, दैट इज व्हाट। अगर अटलांटिक में एक ब्राजीलियन वेसल है, किसको भेजेगा?
ब्राजील।
ब्राजील को।
ब्राजील में जो एनडीसी होगा फिर उसी को भेजेगा ना?
ओके, तो वहां पे भी मल्टीपल कंट्रीज हैं। ब्राजील तो एक हो गया, ब्राजील में आरडीसी है, लेकिन ब्राजील के आसपास का एक दो कंट्री बताइए मुझको।
कोलंबिया,
अर्जेंटीना फॉर एग्जांपल। अर्जेंटीना, a ship in Atlantic which is Argentinian, where it is going to send? It is going to send to Brazil. Why? Because it is regional data center.
तो मतलब सर जो ब्राजील के आजू-बाजू
कोऑपरेटिव जैसे हो गया ना,
वो सब इसी को भेजते हैं।
बेसिकली आइडिया सेम है जो आप कह रहे हैं, मैं समझ रहा हूं कि मल्टीपल कंट्रीज भेज रहे हैं तो कोऑपरेटिव हो गया ना। उसमें जो जैसे डिमार्केशन इन्होंने करी है, एक रीजन से रिलेटेड है, कंस्ट्रेंट बाय रीजन, दूसरा नॉट कंस्ट्रेंट बाय रीजन। कोऑपरेटिव में कोई कहीं से भी हो सकता है, एक हो सकता है एशिया का हो, दूसरा हो सकता है कि साउथ अमेरिका का हो। सो नॉट कंस्ट्रेंट बाय रीजन, बट दिस वन इज कंस्ट्रेंट बाय रीजन। आरडीसी इज कंस्ट्रेंट बाय रीजन कि इसी के एरिया के लोग होंगे। अंडरस्टूड?
सर तो फिर
सर ये हो
कंस्ट्रेंट
गया
बाय
कि
रीजन तो फिर वो सबशिप्स पे
I
अप्लाई होगा।
I could not hear. Please once again.
used to
अगर
बोल रहे हैं।
कंस्ट्रेंट बाय रीजन है
Hmm.
तो मतलब कि वो उस रीजन से जो भी शिप निकल रहा है इरिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ नेशनैलिटी उसको
नहीं
इधर
नहीं
देना
नहीं
पड़ेगा।
नहीं, ओह नहीं नहीं, उस रीजन के जो भी कंट्रीज हैं वो उसी एक डेटा सेंटर को भेजेंगे।
तो सर वो
अर्जेंटीना
कंट्रीज डिफाइंड
ब्राजील
है,
आसपास में ही अभी
आसपास है, लेकिन वो लिस्ट डिफाइंड है कि मतलब ये कंट्रीज ये सारे ब्राजील में भेजेंगे ऐसा।
वो डिफाइंड होगा। वो आरडीसी में कौन कौन से हैं, एवरी फ्लैग एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन मस्ट नॉमिनेट अ डीसी। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल डेनमार्क का एग्जांपल लिया तो डेनमार्क मस्ट नॉमिनेट द डीसी टू विच इट इज गोइंग टू सेंड द डेटा। मतलब डेनमार्क रजिस्टर्ड ऑल वेसल्स विल बी सेंडिंग their data to European Union CDC. Similarly, Germany, which is also part of European Union, all German ships, Germany should nominate the European Union CDC that all German ships will be sending again to European CDC, French vessels, European CDC. So these are the countries, all countries must nominate a DC कि भाई मैं इसको भेजूंगा, मेरी डेटा यहां से मिलेगी। नहीं हुआ क्लियर?
अगर सीडीसी और आरडीसी मतलब सेम ही है, बस नाम अलग है। आरडीसी में
बेसिकली
ब्राजील के कंट्रीज है और यूरोप में यूरोपियन कंट्रीज है।
Basically, yes, only that CDC is not constrained by a locality. RDC is of that area only, countries in that area. अब वैसे तो हम देख ही रहे हैं, यूरोपियन यूनियन है तो यूरोप के ही है ना। पैसिफिक आइलैंड्स है तो पैसिफिक आइलैंड्स के जो कंट्रीज हैं, होनोलुलु हो गया, होंडुरास हो गया, ये सब उसी तरफ के होंगे। सो ले दे के सेम है, जस्ट नाम डिफरेंस है विथ an underlying differentiation ki one is constrained by region, other is not. So what we said, we have NDC, we have RDC and we have CDC. जिसका कोई नहीं उसका तो IDC है यारों। This is maintained by IMO, International Data Center. If a country is not having a national data center, not sending to any regional data center, not sending to any CDC, they can send directly to International Data Center, which is operated and managed by IMO. So that's about data centers.
तो है कोई
कौन?
आईडीसी वाला है कोई?
नहीं, उसका कोई आइडिया नहीं है मुझको, मेरे ख्याल से नहीं है।
पाकिस्तान।
बट कौन? पाकिस्तान? नहीं, पाकिस्तान का भी मेरे ख्याल से नेशनल डेटा सेंटर है। Nonetheless, so we have seen there are many countries all having different kind of data centers. It may be national data center, RDC or CDC, whatever. Now take an example for this, the southern part of India. There is a distress happening here. There is an Australian ship, there is a Chinese ship, there is, let us say, an Indian ship. Now, since there is distress here, Indian Coast Guard will be responsible for providing this assistance, but their vessel is little far off. They would like to this Australian vessel to go and proceed for help. How do the Indian Coast Guard contact the Australian vessel that please proceed for rescue, there is a distress happening in your area? Or how come the Indian Coast Guard tells the Chinese vessel to go and help as they are following, they are coming back? If it is to be done, it is that this Australian data, ship's data, which has reported to Australia that I am in Indian Ocean, this Australian data should be accessible to this Indian Coast Guard or not? ये ऑस्ट्रेलियन शिप की इंफॉर्मेशन तो ऑस्ट्रेलियन गवर्नमेंट से ही मिल सकती है.
Yes, sir.
ये सर एक कॉमन जगह पे शेयर होगा ना सर डेटा.
एग्जैक्टली. चाइनीज जो शिप है इसका डेटा चाइना से ही मिलेगा, चाइनीज डेटा सेंटर से ही मिलेगा. दैट मीन्स द इंडियन कोस्ट गार्ड should also be able to obtain the data from Chinese data center. And suppose कि चाइना के आसपास में कुछ हो रही है और यहाँ पे इंडियन वेसल है, तो ये Chinese authority may want to get the Indian ships information from India. They should also obtain the data from Indian National Data Center. That means all can communicate with each other. They should be able to communicate with each other. Remember that this is the authorized user. So an authorized user is able to reach this Australian database or Chinese database or US database or Japanese database. How is it possible? It is possible because all these data centers are connected with each other with international data exchange. All these data centers are connected with each other through an internet server. That means all these DCs are connected to each other through an internet server, which is known as International Data Exchange. They can share information with each other. This can be understood by an example. I have a Gmail account. You have a Gmail account. Are we connected with each other? Can I send a message to you? What do I do when I want to send a message? I go to my message box, type your name, ID, type the message, hit the send button. The message which I have sent, where does it go? आपके खिड़की से आपके घर में गिर तो नहीं जाता कमरे में? When I send button, when I hit the send button, what happens? It goes to a server in USA. Google server पे चला जाता है. Google server में जगह है उसकी आपके मैसेज बॉक्स में चला जाता है. It is there. जो मैंने यहां से भेजा गूगल सर्वर पे भेज दिया. जब आप अपना ईमेल बॉक्स खोलते हैं, मेल बॉक्स खोलते हैं, तो आपको दिखता है एक इनकमिंग मैसेज. किसने भेजा? तो प्रसून सिन्हा ने भेजा. क्या भेजा? तो नोट्स भेजे हैं जी, जो नहीं भेजा है. So are we connected with each other through Google server?
Yes, sir.
So supposing that I am Indian Coast Guard, I log into my system giving my ID and password.
भाई सब कट के आ गया.
हाँ
वीडियो रुक गया.
भाई किसी को भी आइडिया है कि मार्च का रिजल्ट कब आ रहा है फेज 1 का?
नो आइडिया ब्रो। नोटिस आया क्या कोई इसके रिगार्डिंग?
कुछ भी नहीं आया है यार, ऊपर से अब लॉकडाउन का अलग सीन हो गया है, तो पता नहीं क्या पेपर भी होने हैं नहीं होने, और पिछला रिजल्ट भी नहीं निकाला इन्होंने।
ये फाइल
जुलाई
अभी
के
बनाई थी
एग्जाम
कि
तो
पहले से बनाई
पोस्टपोन्ड हो
हुई?
गए।
जुलाई के? ये कौन बोला?
कौन सा हुआ भाई?
तो नवीन सर बोल रहे थे ना, कैप्टन नवीन, की शायद जुलाई वाला पोस्टपोन हो गया फेज 2।
हो गया क्या? ये न्यूज़ नहीं पता यार। ये कब की बात है?
तो जून वाला फेज वन।
हाँ, जून के जो भी अभी लेटेस्ट होने वाला था वो पोस्टपोन हो गया है। मतलब अभी उसका कुछ डेट नहीं है कि कब होगा कब नहीं।
नहीं, जून में जो फेज वन होना था वो कब?
सिन्हा सर से भी पूछना पड़ेगा, सौजय सिन्हा सर से भी पूछ लेंगे, उनको
Sorry,
भी।
I got logged out. I got logged out. There was some connectivity issue. Are you able to listen to me?
यस सर।
Okay. So we have 5 minutes, 10 minutes to complete this. We'll be able to do that. Now, Indian Coast Guard is an authorized user. They have got a computer. Through this, they log in, they get into this. They log into the server. जैसे मैंने log in किया था Google server पे, PSA was logging into Google server to type the message and send the message. Indian Coast Guard is getting into this server. Now Indian Coast Guard, can it access this all the databases?
यस
सर।
And अगर इसका कोई ship, let us say this is USA, if this ship is in the area, will they have on the computer USA का जहाज है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया का जहाज है, चाइना का जहाज है? Are the Indian Coast Guard able to see all the ships?
यस सर।
So this is how, similarly, if there was, let us say, AMSA here. So AMSA, when it logs on to this, they will be again able to access all the data from all the data centers.
यस।
So that is how all the authorized users, be it port state, flag state, coastal state, or search and rescue agencies, can access data from anywhere in the world. But a condition there, अब मैं किसी से डेटा उठा सकता हूं, तो बॉम्बे में मैं बैठा हुआ हूं और पूछता रहूं कि अच्छा कराची में कौन कौन से जहाज घूम रहे हैं, मैं उल्टे सीधे क्वेश्चन पूछता रहूं, that should be allowed or not?
नो सर।
No. If I am Bombay port, if I am Bombay, then I should be having all information for my region because I need, my working area is this. If there is Cochin, if there is Cochin, this has got a service area of this, so it should be allowed information only about ships in this area. If it is Indian Coast Guard, they are responsible for the safety and security of the whole area. So Indian Coast Guard should be able to obtain information of any ship in this area. So
सर
what we
एरिया
are
की
trying,
लिमिट क्या है, मतलब टेरिटोरियल की कुछ और है?
बस टेरिटोरियल है. अगर
12 माइल।
अगर बॉम्बे पोर्ट हो तो बॉम्बे का पोर्ट एरिया जो है उसके लिए मैं जिम्मेदार हूं ना.
हाँ मतलब जब वो अगर लेट्स से कोस्ट गार्ड को इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए तो
हाँ.
उसकी एक लिमिट डिफाइंड होगी कि आप इतने एरिया में आ रहा है कोई जहाज तो आपका एरिया स्टार्ट हो गया।
एग्जैक्टली मैं वही अभी एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूं. मैं वही
तो उसका कोई नंबर होएगा ना?
एग्जैक्टली मैं वही कहना चाह रहा हूं कि ईच ऑथोराइज्ड यूजर हैज गॉट अ बाउंड्री. It is defined beforehand. इफ आई एम सर्च एंड रेस्क्यू अथॉरिटी तो मेरा एरिया बड़ा होगा. इफ फ्लैग स्टेट 1000 माइल का रेडियस फ्रॉम द कोस्ट ऑल ओवर, दैट्स माय अथॉरिटी. इफ आई एम पोर्ट, my port limits are my authority. If coastal state, then coastal region, whatever is considered coastal region, that is my authority. So each user has been assigned an area which is defined by coordinates. यहां से यहां से यहां से यहां से यहां तक का एरिया आपका है. Any ship in this area, they will be able to obtain information. For example, rules of exchange of data, कौन किसको कितना मिलेगा, that depends on need to know basis. जो मेरी नीड है मेरे फंक्शनैलिटी के लिए उतना मुझको मिलेगा. नहीं तो फिर तो खिचड़ी हो जाएगी. मैं यहाँ बैठा रहूं और देखता रहूं कि यूएसए में कौन घूम रहा है और ऑस्ट्रेलिया में कौन घूम रहा है, चाइना में कौन घूम रहा है. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट होगा. यहां हमने बात की है LRIT से कि we will be securing our coastal areas. So anybody coming in my area, I have to know. All right, so that's my authority. That's my privilege that I should be knowing if somebody comes into my area. मेरे घर में कौन आ रहा है उसको पता होना चाहिए. भाई पड़ोस में कौन आ रहा है उसको मुझको क्या करना, उसके लिए वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल है. So each authorized user has got a predefined area. जैसे ही मैं बॉम्बे पोर्ट लिखता हूं तो बॉम्बे पोर्ट का एरिया डिफाइन करता हूं. जैसे मैं लिखता हूं इंडियन कोस्ट गार्ड तो मैं उसका सारा सर्विस एरिया डिफाइन करता हूं. ये डेटा सेंटर में ही लिखा जाता है क्योंकि हर डेटा सेंटर के साथ ऑथराइज्ड यूजर्स हैं. यूएसए का फ्लैग स्टेट, यूएसए का कोस्टल स्टेट, यूएसए का सर्च एजेंसी, यूएसए का पोर्ट स्टेट्स. सो दैट इज ऑल अवेलेबल. वहां भी अथॉराइज्ड यूजर, मेरे यहाँ भी अथॉराइज्ड यूजर. So each of the authorized users will be mentioned in the data center itself that these are the authorized users or इनका service area is so and so. That means the exchange of data is happening as per a rule regulation which is known as data distribution plan, DDP. This DDP is part of the data center itself. The Indian government, when it is making its list of authorized users, कि मेरे यहाँ कौन कौन है, तो ये रामपुर पोर्ट है, ये कोलकाता पोर्ट है, ये चेन्नई है, ये विशाखापट्टनम है, ये कोचिन है, बैंगलोर है, जो भी है, सारे लिस्ट बनाता हूं मैं. साथ साथ में डिफाइन करता चलता हूं कि इनका सर्विस एरिया कितना है. सबको पासवर्ड आईडी दी है. जब वो लॉग इन करेंगे तो उनके एरिया में जो भी होगा उसकी डेटा उसको मिल जाएगी. कैसे मिलेगी? एज पर डेटा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन प्लान. So this is the structure, infrastructure. हाँ बोलिए.
सर जैसे एक इंडियन शिप है और वो चाइनीज कोस्ट के पास है.
हाँ.
तो उसका सर उसका जो डाटा है, जो पोजीशन का डाटा वगैरह है, वो पहले चाइनीज डेटा सेंटर के पास जाएगा, फिर वहां से इंडियन कोस्ट गार्ड.
नहीं. मान लीजिए कि इंडियन वेसल है, आपने कहा ही इज इन चाइनीज एरिया. चाइनीज एरिया में इंडियन शिप है. So this Indian vessel will be sending this to Indian National Data Center first. अब चाइना की अथॉरिटी है, वो उसको इसका इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए, तो फर्स्ट it will log into the data center IDC. Through this it will reach here and through this data available जो हमने भेजा था पहले, डेटा चूंकि यहाँ है तो इसको ये डेटा मिल जाएगी. अंडरस्टूड?
यस सर, अंडरस्टूड.
शिप का काम सिर्फ अपने फ्लैग स्टेट को भेजना है.
सर डायरेक्ट आईडी नहीं देगा सर डेटा?
नहीं, आईडी कुछ नहीं, गूगल सर्वर आपको मेल भेजता है क्या?
नहीं सर।
तो मेल तो हम भेजते हैं ना, गूगल सर्वर का काम तो फैसिलिटेट करना है कि हाँ भाई मैं बैठा हूँ, इधर से आओ, इधर से ले जाओ। वो तो सिर्फ रिफ्लेक्टिंग सरफेस है।
तो अगर इंडियन वेसल चाइनीज टेरिटरी में होगा तो फिर हमारा डेटा इधर गया ना, इंडिया में गया, अगर चाइनीज को चाहिए होगा तो फिर वो हमारे डेटा इस सेंटर से लेगा ना?
हाँ, तो वही मैंने क्या कहा कि चाइनीज अथॉरिटीज आर लॉगिंग इनटू थ्रू द आईडी, दे आर रीचिंग दिस। और यहाँ पे देखते हैं जो जहाज, सिर्फ यही जहाज है इनके पास, तो इस जहाज का डेटा चाइना को मिल जाता है।
सही है सर, ठीक है।
समझ में आ गया?
हाँ जी सर, समझ आ गया।
बेसिकली क्या है, चाइना ने अपना कंप्यूटर खोला, इनके सामने कंप्यूटर में जैसे ही लॉगिन किया तो वो यहाँ पे घुस गए। अब चाइना के इसमें इतना एरिया है, इसमें ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया का जहाज है, मान लो इसमें इंडिया का जहाज है, फॉर एग्जांपल यूएसए का जहाज है इनके एरिया में। तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया का जहाज यहाँ से ऑस्ट्रेलिया वाले इससे मिलेगा उसको, इंडिया का इंफॉर्मेशन उसको इंडिया वाले डेटा सेंटर से मिलेगा, यूएसए का डेटा यहाँ यूएसए वाले डेटा सेंटर से मिलेगा। तो ये चाइनीज अथॉरिटीज आर सर्चिंग ऑल दिस डेटाबेसेस। इन डेटाबेस में जो इस एरिया में है उसका सब का डेटा इसको मिल जाएगा।
Now is it?
Okay, now
Yes, sir. Now it is.
LRIT has also become an essential part.
Yes, sir.
So talking about the purpose of LRIT, maritime security was the purpose. This system helps in achieving that objective of maritime security, because the ships are known, the ships are getting tracked by the flag state, they have information about all their ships all across the world, and also in this area, contracting governments, countries area. Next, carriage requirement. Who is required to carry an LRIT system? All passenger ships, cargo ships of 300 GRT and above, mobile platforms, the platforms that is the rigs, oil rigs and all that, they will all be required to fit an LRIT system. But there is an exemption given to those, which is here. Even larger ships, more than 300 GRT, which are always remaining within sea area A1 and are also fitted with AIS, need not carry LRIT or need not transmit LRIT data. So those vessels which always remain within the VHF range of a station need not carry the LRIT system. Next, what are you reading right now?
Identity ships, LRIT identifier, position, date and time.
Okay, good. So identity of the ship, the position report which is transmitted by the ship contains these three things: identity, position, date, time. I think we discussed yesterday, identity is the identity of the LRIT equipment. उस मोबाइल नंबर को ही का ही आईडी होता है। अगर SATC यूज कर रहे हैं तो SATC का नंबर, अगर कोई दूसरा इक्विपमेंट कर रहे हैं तो उसका जो भी नंबर होगा। With that the ship can be identified. Like example के लिए जैसे कल बात किया था, I can be identified with my mobile number because in the database. Everything is available. This mobile number belongs to Prasoon Sinha, lives in Indrapuram, Ghaziabad, etc., etc. Everything data is available. The data, the PR is updated every 4 hours. 4 times a day. That means 6 hourly. But it can be updated remotely. The ASP has access to our LRIT system on board ship remotely. They can configure our LRIT system in a new way. They can also reset the position report sending process. They can change the time of transmission, all sitting remotely. LRIT system, the SATC especially, has the polling feature, which makes it possible to be used as an LRIT equipment. So default value is 6 hours, but it can be changed. Supposing HRA से पास हो रहे हैं और फ्लैग स्टेट को लगता है कि नहीं 6 घंटे में बहुत कुछ हो जाएगा, I want to monitor them more closely, so they can request ASP to change the reporting rate, and that will be made to every hourly, for example. तो 24 रिपोर्ट डेली हो जाएगा, और मे बी every half an hour, तो 48 रिपोर्ट्स हो जाएगा. Minimum duration between the two transmissions can be 15 minutes. Maximum 6 hours between two reports, minimum 15 minutes. This transmission can be stopped under certain conditions, like for example, the ship is laid up for long period of time. 2 महीना के लिए यहीं पे रहना है. Ship is not moving for 2 months. In that case, it may be switched off, or the interval rate can be changed to 24 hours a day. Exceptional conditions. But prior notification has to be given to the contracting government or the flag state. Of course, this rate has to be changed by the ASP only upon the request of flag state, but switching off can be done by the master. When the switching off is done, it should be notified to the flag state. This we talked about. What are you reading on your screen? The LRIT system consists of. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this we talked about in too much of detail yesterday. So just go through this. I will be changing the slide one by one. We are just reviewing the topic what was done yesterday. कल हम लोगों ने स्लाइड पे नहीं देखा था, सिर्फ बोर्ड पे बात की थी. Next. So these are the 7 components of the LRIT system. The whole infrastructure of LRIT will comprise of this: ships, LRIT equipment, the communication service provider, the application service provider, data centers, IDE, International Data Exchange, data distribution plan, and LRIT coordinator, जिसके बारे में कल बात नहीं हुई. LRIT इक्विपमेंट के बारे में बात हो गई, CSP हो गया, ASP भी हो गया. ASP is an entity appointed by the flag state, which is responsible for collecting the data from the ship, processing it, and forwarding it to the flag state. Flag state के पास जब पहुंचती है तो that is called data center. We had made a diagram yesterday on screen. Please verify your understanding कि कल का डायग्राम और इस डायग्राम में कोई फर्क है या एक ही चीज है, represented in a different way. Please study the diagram. Any query, please ask me.
No, sir.
All good?
Yes.
This part may require a little bit of explanation. Are you sure of this? सारा clear है? ये क्या हो रहा है? क्या चीज हो रहा है यहाँ पे? Is the picture getting made in your head? Yes, sirs. The ship is sending position reports 4 times a day via the CSP to ASP. ASP is adding data, forwarding it to DC. This DC can be national data center, cooperative data center, or regional data center. For each DC, there will be authorized users.
Yes, sir.
I got disconnected.
Yes,
So
sir. Now you can listen.
मैं पूछ रहा था कि मुझको सुन पा रहे हैं कि नहीं. मैं कुछ पिछले स्क्रीन पे था और पीछे से कनेक्शन लॉस्ट का साउंड आ रहा था मुझको. Anyway, sharing once again, going back there. So what we were talking about, that the authorized users can access data directly from the data center. In the data center, there are all entities listed there. For each government, there will be data sharing policy. definition of each authorized entity and their service area that is defined in the data center itself. Through the LRIT data exchange, this data center and other data centers, many of them are interconnected with each other. And so information exchange can take place between all the countries, depending on need to know basis. I guess this is what we did yesterday.
Yes, sir, till here.
Okay, so clear. Next, description of each of them, what they are doing. Next, if there are two SATCs, sorry, not both of them are designated for transmission of data. एक ही से, otherwise there can be duplicacy and that will lead to confusion. So out of the two, there is one which is designated for transmission of LRIT data. Next, the CSP does not have to do anything with the LRIT data. It is just transferring the data from ship to shore. Same way as when I send a message to you, एक SMS भेजता हूं. My service provider is Airtel. Let us say your service provider is Jio. Neither Jio nor Airtel has got anything to do with what I'm sending. They are only interested in transferring what I sent to you. So that is what communication service provider is doing. जो शिप भेज रहा है उसको शोर पे पहुंचाना है. That is the job. ASP. The additional information added by the ASP, जो कल हम देख रहे थे. Next, so the ASP is having remote control over the ship's LRIT system. So they keep monitoring which are sending, which are not. And if they observe some ship is not sending the report, they can reset the system. They can change the timing of transmission, all done remotely. They can also actively poll the system and try to obtain immediate position. Polling is also available to them, which the SATC system provides. Functions of data center. डेटा सेंटर का काम है डेटा कलेक्ट करना, रिपोर्ट जमा करना, and as per need to know basis to disseminate it to the authorized users or authorized entities. Can we remember the authorized users?
Yes, a flag state and port state.
Flag
Yes.
state, post state, coastal state,
Coast
and
Guard.
SAR.
SAR, yeah, Coast Guard.
Very good. हम लोग अभी इसके बारे में भी देखेंगे, थोड़ा सा पढ़ेंगे. Types of data centers. Three types majorly that we had seen: national data center, regional data center, and cooperative data center. Major difference: NDC is only responsible for their own vessels. There is one country which is providing service to other countries also. ठीक है, तुम भी भेजो, तुम भी भेजो, तुम भी भेजो. So one country providing services to so many countries, contracting governments. That's regional data center. Cooperative is when actively all the countries are putting together and forming one contracting government. Maybe money sharing and infrastructure sharing, etc. will be there, but it is a constant decision by the contracting governments to form one data center. Examples we saw yesterday was European Union, Pacific Islands. Each contracting government must designate a data center जिसको सारे ships उसके data भेजेंगे. If a country is not sending to any one of them, they are not having NDC, they don't want to send, or they can't send to regional data center, or they are not part of any CDC, then they can transmit it to international data center. Next, international data exchange.
The slide is blank.
Blank, okay. अब देखिए,
So it was visible, but now it's been gone.
आ गया?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay. International Data Exchange is located in Lisbon, Portugal. Managed by IMO. This is where the server is, internet server is. And all the DCs are connected with this. And they can exchange data with each other. This can be explained by an example right now. I am sitting in my home, you are sitting in your homes, but we are talking to each other. Are we exchanging information with each other or not?
Yes, sir.
How we are doing it? Because you are also connected to the same server. I am also connected to the same server, and that server is Microsoft server because we are using Microsoft Teams. So through that internet server, people can be connected. So here data centers are connected with each other with an internet server, which is called International Data Exchange. Is Teams, is Microsoft interested in what we are talking right now? Which topic is going on, whether class is going on, whether what is happening? Are they concerned? No. Their job is to provide connectivity that they are providing. Similarly, IDE has got nothing to do with the message, nothing to do with the PR. Their function is to only facilitate exchange of data. The next point that we are going to discuss is DDP, but after that only. Just go through the slide. Again, is it blank?
No, sir, visible.
Okay. Next is DDP, that we can take forward from the previous example. Now that we are connected, we are able to speak to each other. You are seeing my mobile and the file on the mobile. Does that mean you should obtain all the information that I have on my mobile or my laptop? All the messages, all the WhatsApp, all the calls, call log, everything, all the files, photos. Should it be allowed for you?
No, sir.
Somebody's microphone is on, please check it. Microphone is on. Rajan sir, if you are listening, please mute. Okay, thankfully. So what we were saying, that now that we are connected, is it okay that I am able to access everything that you have on your computer or your mobile, or you should be able to get access to anything that I have? No. We are here to exchange only the information that is required to exchange between us. That is my PPT on LRIT equipment right now. We are able to share each other photo also, voice as well as the file that we are showing, we are sharing. So DDP is the rule of exchange of data. Who will get what kind of information? So आगे थोड़ा specify होएगा when we are talking about authorized entities. So what is their scope of obtaining data that we'll be discussing? एक line only, but that will be available. So each government is providing this policy to the DDP so that it can be incorporated, and the rule of the exchange of data can take place on the basis of these requested policies. If I'm India, I want that within 1,000 miles anybody coming, I need the data. So anybody who is in that area, I will be able to access that information. So what are the things listed in DDP? It is all the key elements, all the ASPs, all the DCs, all the authorized users. They are all listed here. All the port facilities, postal agencies, flag states. Each one is listed here, and with each one of them also their service area, within which area they want to exercise the rights of obtaining information. So that is TDP. After having done all this, there has to be a common platform on which the governments can sit together and work out a policy to exchange between them. So there has to be a centralized body to coordinate between governments, and that requires the seventh one, which is LRIT coordinator. LRIT coordinator basically, हमारे screen पे कुछ और दिख रहा है, but please hear my lecture on this. LRIT coordinator is a person or group of persons in the IMO who are responsible for coordination between the governments. Otherwise, conflicts will be there. So in a resolute manner, solutions have to be worked out, and for that, there is this coordinator. Their job is to ensure that the LRIT system is working without any problem. It is being useful and beneficial to all concerned. So that is LRIT coordinator. Talking a bit more about the authorized users, here is on your screen. Flag state, port state, coastal states, and SAR organizations. Next, in what conditions they can obtain the data? Flag state can obtain data anywhere. जैसा हमने देखा कि all the ships worldwide are reporting their position report to the flag state, तो उसके पास हमेशा होता है सारे जहाजों का, flag state vessels का information. The port states can obtain data for only their service area or for those vessels who are coming to their ports. So they may not be immediately in the service area, but they are actually coming to this destination is say given port. So they can track those vessels also, provided those ships are still not in somebody else's country, some other country. Port state. Then the coastal state within 1,000 miles from the coast. This is a general agreement between all contracting governments that they should be able to obtain any ship, any nationality, if they are coming within 1,000 miles of my range. Again, giving the example of India, if Indian coast say there are ships within 1,000 miles, then I should be having information. I want to secure my coastal area. मेरे 1000 माइल के भीतर जो भी है उनका डेटा मुझको चाहिए. Lastly, the SAR organization, they can obtain information about ships in the area, in the immediate vicinity of the.
Sir, the slide is empty, sir, blank.
Empty, okay. Okay. Abhi, coastal state, can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
So
again
just
it's
go
gone.
through. So a question is generally asked, who are the authorized users of LRIT data? In what conditions they can obtain the LRIT information? Here is what you are seeing. ये चार तो authorized users हैं. Additionally, there can be other users also. One of them is the owners itself, क्योंकि मेरी जहाज तो मेरा information तो होगा ही. So very often you will find, this is practical the life what we are talking about, that the position report which is transmitted to the flag state is also copied to the owners. मतलब जैसे रिपोर्ट फ्लैग स्टेट को जाती है तो एक कॉपी चली जाती है ओनर्स को, so that owners are also able to track their vessels in the similar fashion. वैसे तो हम डेली का नून रिपोर्ट भेजते ही हैं, but the PR which is sent to the flag state is also sent to the flag state, especially in India. Yes, it is happening. तो एक ही मैसेज दो आईडी पे ट्रांसमिट होता है, एक फ्लैग स्टेट की आईडी पे, एक ओनर की आईडी पे. सो ओनर्स में आल्सो यूज द डेटा. The local governments of course can use it. Sometimes agents also use it, but उसके बारे में हमें बात नहीं करनी है. Agents का जो ऑपरेशन है वो कमर्शियल ऑपरेशन है नॉर्मली, so we'll not talk about that. Now that we have understood the functioning of LRIT, सारी चीजें involved, so we can think of the benefits it can provide. Just read through and see if it is appealing, if it is, resonating with your understanding कि हाँ ये तो होएगा, ये तो होएगा, ये तो. So as a flag state, I can control all my area. As a port state, I can look forward for all the ships coming into my area, be able to manage my port operations in a better way. If I have early notice, it can be used to locate overdue ships. Can somebody explain to me what is overdue ship?
देखो जैसे कोई जहाज का ईटीए था ऑन सम एक्सपायर्ड डेट, लेकिन वो नहीं आया और काफी टाइम निकल गया, तो पॉसिबली शी इज इन डिस्ट्रेस या कुछ और हो सकता है.
Very good, perfect, 100%, 100%. So overdue ships means ETA पे नहीं पहुंची है. What ETA she had given, she has not arrived here. So we want to find out what happened to her. Why she has gotten delayed. हो सकता है कि डिस्ट्रेस में हो या किसी अर्जेंसी में हो, प्रोपेलर टूट गया, कुछ हो गया. So we can find out, try to locate that ship which has not reported still, even after the ETA has passed. Next, are you seeing blank screen or something written on the screen?
Written, sir, the ports state.
Okay. As a coastal state, to monitor coastal traffic. Phase 2 में all questions are generally asked in the manner how it is better used, an equipment, how it can be put to use, what is the benefit, what is the use, or what are the errors when we are using it. उन सब से related questions ज़्यादा होते हैं. So that angle should be given more, emphasis. But ऐसा नहीं है कि पूछते नहीं कि how the eco-sounder works. They may also be asking that. Next, when the ship is LRIT compliant, there has to be documentation proving that, and it should be updated. So proper documentation requirement for LRIT would be, the first of all, there should be a type approval certificate. Is everybody aware what is a type approval certificate? Okay, I don't see an answer. Here an answer, so let me explain. Any equipment on board ship before installation has to be passed through an inspection, and a certificate has to be issued that yes, this device is fulfilling the requirements of the IMO or SOLAS regulations, what we call IMO performance standards. उनके सारे standards को meet करता है. This is qualified to be placed on board. So each manufacturer, when he is making the making the equipment, before being able to sell it to the ship, the manufacturer has to obtain type approval certificate, which is also provided to the ship along with the equipment. So an equipment that we are talking about is a radio equipment transmitting LRIT data. So this equipment, is it ship worthy or not? Can it be installed or not? Has to be justified with a certificate called type approval certificate. कोई भी इक्विपमेंट हो, चाहे वो SCBA हो या फायर पंप हो या लाइफ बॉय हो, TPO हो, SCBA हो, कुछ भी हो, GPS हो, radar हो, magnetic compass हो, any equipment must have a type approval certificate. The manufacturer, once who has made it, will obtain this after passing the equipment through an inspection by authorized agency, which is recognized.
By class?
That depends. Class also, one part of the class is also able to do this, but that is a different function. जहाज में हम जैसे क्लास को जानते हैं और जिस काम के लिए जानते हैं, उनका रोल जहाज के इंस्पेक्शन में अलग है. जहाज के इंस्पेक्शन में उनका काम अलग है और टाइप अप्रूवल का काम उनका अलग है. So it may be possible that Lloyd's is doing ship inspection. Also, they have a wing to certify equipments. So it is not necessarily just the class. We are resting by saying competent authority or recognized authority. नेक्स्ट वन इज द कंफर्मेंस टेस्ट. ASP के बारे में हमने बात किया था कि ASP इज अपॉइंटेड बाय द फ्लैग स्टेट और उसका सर्टेन फंक्शंस आर देयर. तो पहली बार वो जहाज में आते हैं, कॉन्फ़िगर करते हैं, टेस्टिंग करते हैं और उसके बाद एक सर्टिफिकेट इश्यू करते हैं जहाज को कि आपका जहाज अब LRIT कंप्लायंट हो गया. ये लीजिए, हमने टेस्ट कर लिया, ये है टेस्ट की सर्टिफिकेट. So that is generally referred to as LRIT conformance test report. ASP will issue this. In India, for example, Tata Communication is the ASP, and this certificate will be issued by Tata Communication. Of course, it will be endorsed by the flag state later on when they come, but it is issued by the ASP. Since this equipment is LRIT equipment, is radio equipment, so it has to be inspected and verified in the annual survey also, radio survey, what we call SRT, safety radio inspection. It has to be included in that. This particular system, LRIT, is more to do with safety and security of the vessel. So this also finds its place in the SEQ फॉर्म। SEQ सर्टिफिकेट में एक तो सर्टिफिकेट होती है, साथ में लिस्ट लगा होता है, अगर आपने देखा हो तो। हैज एनीबॉडी सीन SEQ सर्टिफिकेट?
यस सर।
यस
ओके,
सर।
वेरी गुड। आपने देखा हुआ है सर्टिफिकेट? तो कम अगेन, लास्ट में।
फॉर्म ई रहता है सर, फॉर्म ई।
हाँ, वेरी गुड, एग्जैक्टली, दैट इज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू टॉक अबाउट। फॉर्म ई होता है, that is the list of equipment, every equipment that is pertaining to safety, that includes fire pump, maybe TPA, SCBA systems, life buoys, life rafts, markers, man overboard markers, सब जितने safety equipment हैं सब की listing होती है। LRIT equipment also finds its way in the form E, so it should be amended. This item should be included in that. The last topic of the day and of the topic itself is comparison between LRIT and AIS. Why we are comparing this? Both are radio equipment, both are used for position reporting, and so we are having to draw a parallel between them. A very prominent question in LRIT and AIS. Differentiate between LRIT and AIS or compare the two. Now that we have known both the topics, just go through this. There are a few points which are mentioned here. The comparison between LRIT and AIS. Satellite system, VHF based system, no issue. Near global coverage, because Inmarsat है, normally Inmarsat पे काम करता है, तो 76 north 70 south के बीच में, 76 south के बीच में, it is always operational. But this is only in the VHF area. If monitoring is the concern, then my vessel can be monitored in the coastal area only if there is an AIS station. So only when there is a AIS coverage that I get to be noticed by the authorities, otherwise not. But that constraint is not there with the ship. Ship is anywhere excepting A4 area. LRIT does not suffer that limitation. Anywhere in the world, they can transmit the data. Secure data and public data. We have seen AIS is open for all. It is a broadcast system. Transmit कर दिया, जिसको receive करना है कर लो. Not so is the case with LRIT. It is directed only to one party, which is flag state. Very easily you can compare the data transmitted. Here, just a position report comprising of 3 items: ship ID, position, date time. As against that, there are various kind of information transmitted by AIS. What are they? So categories में static data, dynamic data, voice data, etc. Unlimited range, line of sight up to 40 miles only. I don't think I need to explain this. Flag state owns the data. Anyone can see the data. These are two kinds of related.
Same.
Almost. Purpose, however, differs. दो purpose तो common थे, maritime pollution control and search and rescue, but the other major purpose was different. LRIT is for maritime security, AIS is for safety of navigation, collision avoidance. So these are some of the data that can become or information that can be compared. Few more of the comparison points. Having known the two topics, this will also be very apparent. इतने सारे कंपोनेंट्स देखे हमने इसमें, एक जहाज पे इक्विपमेंट, इनमारसैट इन्वॉल्व हो गया, एक प्राइवेट एंटिटी इन्वॉल्व हो गई, गवर्नमेंट इन्वॉल्व हो गया, इंटरनेशनल इंटरनेट सर्वर इन्वॉल्व हो गया, इतने सारे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस हो गए. So infrastructure requirement for LRIT is humongous, very big. But AIS is all simple. एक डब्बा लाया, लगाया, बात खत्म. ट्रांसमिट करते रहो. Since it is costly satellite system, the LRIT is a bit expensive. Compared to that, AIS is much cheaper. एक बार खरीदा, लगाया, हो गई बात खत्म. Bring it, install it, forget it. Monitoring of the system, that is also a point of comparison. Monitoring के लिए ASP था. ASP was doing, but AIS में ना तो आप मॉनिटर करते हैं सोटू से, ना मैं करता हूं. It is self monitored. सब कुछ अपने आप होता है using SOTDM. Another point of comparison, since the position report is comprising of only 3 things and all the 3 are updated automatically. Position date time update होता ही रहता है. Ship ID वैसे भी update करने की जरूरत नहीं है. So it is automatically transmitted whatever is there, no more configuration required. But for
ship ID जो LRIT में वो IMO नंबर ही है ना?
LRIT में
जो शिप आईडी ट्रांसमिट होती है,
हाँ,
वो कोई स्पेशल नंबर होता है कि आईएमओ नंबर ही होता है?
ना IMO नंबर नहीं होता, MMSI नंबर नहीं होता.
तो वो अलग नंबर है.
Can somebody explain this question or answer this question?
इनमारसैट सी नंबर होता है सर, सेट सी नंबर.
Very good.
सर सैट सी नंबर से अलग होता है सर. सैट सी 1, सैट सी 2 और LRIT 3 अलग अलग आईडीज रहती हैं.
Okay, very good. What we said, if you remember my lecture, I said that one of the 2 SATCs may be used as an LRIT equipment. If I am very rich kind of company, I say, why? I can have another equipment. I will not touch GMDSS. छोड़ दो उसको, रहने दो, मैं तीसरा equipment लगाता हूँ. So now I have separate LRIT equipment. If you said that 3 equipment were there, 2 for SATC and 1 for LRIT, I will say we had 2 SATCs, one of them transmitting LRIT data. Both of us are right. ठीक है जी, आपके जहाज में 3 इक्विपमेंट है. डुप्लीकेसी ऑफ इक्विपमेंट में 2 SATC होना चाहिए. Minimum requirement is that if you are going for duplication of equipment under GMDSS, minimum 2 systems should be there. आप 4 रखो, कोई मना नहीं कर रहा आपको. 6 रखो, कोई मना नहीं कर रहा. Understood my point?
यस सर. मतलब अगर अलग से LRIT है तो ऑब्वियसली 2 SATC और एक LRIT अलग, ऐसा ये नंबर होगा. अगर एक ही में है तो फिर 2 ही होंगे और उनमें से एक LRIT का सेम होगा.
हाँ, और जिस इक्विपमेंट से ट्रांसमिशन हो रही है उसी इक्विपमेंट का आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर जो है, जो उसका मोबाइल नंबर है, दैट इज ट्रांसमिटेड एज द आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द शिप. मेरे जहाज में LRIT लगा, कैसे लग गया भाई? SATC लगाया मैंने, तो SATC कैसे लग गया? मैंने अप्लाई किया होगा कहीं या नहीं कि मुझको नंबर दो. मोबाइल तो मिलती है बाजार में, लेकिन नंबर लेने के लिए मुझको एयरटेल के पास जाना होता है या नहीं? एयरटेल के पास जाता हूं तो मुझसे डॉक्यूमेंट मांगते हैं या नहीं? वैसे ही इनमारसैट में भी होता है। बाजार में जाके मैं सैटसी तो 4 खरीद लूं, लेकिन काम नहीं करेगा। It has to be recognized, it has to be identified by a mobile number. For that, I have to make an application to the Inmarsat. When I do that, they ask me for all documentation, कौन सा जहाज, कौन सा ओनर, क्या एड्रेस, कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर, फ्लैग, रजिस्ट्री, पोर्ट ऑफ रजिस्ट्री, सारा इंफॉर्मेशन पूछ लेते हैं। तब मुझको एक नंबर देते हैं, तो उस नंबर के साथ पूरी आइडेंटिफिकेशन हो गई जहाज की। करेक्ट? Satisfied?
Yes.
Okay. So we were talking about the types of data, the data update, no update of information required on LRIT, but AIS में वॉइस डेटा हमेशा अपडेट करना होता है। मैनुअल इंटरवेंशन फॉर डेटा। नेविगेशन स्टेटस चेंज करना पड़ता है डिपेंडिंग ऑन सिचुएशन। Another point of comparison, as we have seen that LRIT system is having an elaborate infrastructure. जहाज में तो लग गया LRIT, चलो कोई बात नहीं, बट मैं हर मैसेज जो ट्रांसमिट करता हूं उसके पैसे लगते हैं ना भाई। इनमारसैट सर्विस यूज कर रहा हूं मैं, तो इनमारसैट मुझसे पैसे लेती है। जो भी 1 KB 2 KB का मैं जो मैसेज ट्रांसमिट करता हूं, एएसपी अपना काम कर रहा है, अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज अदा कर रहा है, तो उसका भी एनुअल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगा, हर महीने या हर साल पैसे मिलेंगे उसको। सो LRIT system requires constant expenditure. Operating cost is involved with LRIT, but no such cost is there with the AIS. एक बार डब्बा लगाया, एंटेना खड़ा किया, चालू हो जाओ। There is no recurring cost. No recurring cost for AIS, but there is a constant expenditure being done on LRIT transmission of data. Final, that normally Inmarsat पे चूंकि काम करता है, तो A4 एरिया में काम नहीं भी कर सकता है ये। But if the ship is always remaining in sea area A4, they must have alternate arrangement for transmitting the data, or maybe they are exempted by the flag state कि चलो तुम छोड़ दो, तुम मत भेजो LRIT। That is the case A4 area. LRIT may not be working in that area, but so is not the case with VHF. मैं जहां हूं अपने से 30-40 माइल के भीतर ट्रांसमिशन मेरी होगी, टेरेस्ट्रियल कम्युनिकेशन है मेरा। So always I am able to transmit, and anybody within my range will be able to receive it. So these are some points of consideration or comparison rather for LRIT. Can you respond to this slide which you are seeing?
Yes sir.
Any question?
यस सर, एक क्वेश्चन है सर।
बोलिए बोलिए।
ये एज पर 16 GMDS इक्विपमेंट्स का दो चीज का डुप्लीकेशन होना जरूरी है अगर एरिया A2 या A3 में है तो हम।
ओके।
तो मोस्टली VHF एंड SAT-C के डुप्लीकेशन हो जाती है जहाजों में। बट कई बार देखा गया है कि कई शिप्स में SAT-C 2 नहीं, सिर्फ एक ही होता है, तो उसको काउंटरैक्ट करने के लिए LRIT यूज करते हैं या फिर क्या चीज है सर?
Requirement for GMDSS is that either you should have duplication of equipment like 2 SAT-C or a combination of MF, HF and SAT-C. HF is for long range communication.
ओके सर।
VHF से 30-40 माइल, MF से 300 माइल्स, HF से 1000 माइल्स। Correct? Sea area A1 is mentioned with VHF, A2 is mentioned with MF, A3 is mentioned with satellite communication or HF. Understood? So if your ship is not having a SATC, second SATC, you are relying on MFHF DSC, MFHF radio. So you have an HF radio, you have a SATC, you still have two radio communication systems. It does not say you have to have two satellites or two, you can have a combination of these two in sea area A3. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any more questions? Any more questions, gentlemen?
No, sir.
अरे नहीं तो बोल दो कि नहीं कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है तो मैं
No
आपको
question, sir.
ओके
No, sir.
No question, sir. Thank you.
ऑल राइट चलो बाय बाय
Okay,
दिस टॉपिक
thank you.
कंप्लीटेड next topic we'll pick up is VDR, voice data recorder. Bye bye, have a great day all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.